Welcome to Cooking with Mary's Village Style, and welcome to my kitchen. We're really excited to bring you a recipe today. I have a guest with me. This is my granddaughter Grace, and she's going to help me make this traditional Sicilian chocolate balls cookie. And when I was a kid, they used to call it fettu's. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's the chocolate balls, Sicilian chocolate balls. And I don't know if it's a cookie that we use all over Italy or if it's strictly Sicilian. I only know that when I've been to Sicily many times, I've never had it there. I've only had it in my community with my grandmothers made it and their friends made it. So today that's what we're going to do. We have Frankie Bruno behind the camera. My husband Sally's here today. My grandsons are doing their distance learning again in the dining room. And my daughter-in-law Monica is here. So we're going to make fettuccine chocolate ball cookies. Italian cookies. And I think it's the most original Italian cookie because when I was a kid we always had them. My grandmother would make them without chocolate and put some glazed fruit in them, which I really like. It's kind of vanilla kind of a cookie. But today we're doing the chocolate balls. So one thing that I want to say is, when my grandmother made them, she didn't make them a real dark chocolate. It was a light chocolate color, like a milk chocolate color. And the reason that they turned out to be a milk chocolate color was because instead of using cocoa, she would use Nestle Squick. Her friends all used that. And I guess in the 40s and 50s, maybe it was more prevalent. I don't know. But that makes a light colored chocolate cookie. So what we're going to do today is we've exchanged that. We're not going to use Nestle Squick, even though you could use it. You know, we're not going to use that. We're going to use Hershey's cocoa. And on my recipe that I've altered my grandmother's recipe a little bit, we're going to use some Ghirardelli's ground cocoa, which is a lighter, so we've got a darker one and a lighter one. That's what we're going to use today. And let's see, so it's a simple recipe. I'm going to write the recipe out, and also I'm going to post this on our Friends of Isola della Femmine website. That's Friends of Isola or Friends of Isola della Femmine .org. We'll have the recipe posted on there for you. And also you can watch it on YouTube. And please comment on our video today. Like us on our videos on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. And also look at our YouTube. It's great. The other day I watched some of our recipes on the big screen TV because I didn't really realize that you could watch it on the TV instead of just your iPad or your computer. And it was big. It was okay. It was good. It was fun to watch. So today this is what we're going to do. We're going to use, this is the other thing I wanted to mention to you, shelled walnuts. When we were kids, my grandmother didn't buy shelled walnuts. When Thanksgiving rolled around, she would put a big a wooden bowl on the table with nuts and mostly walnuts. And I don't know if you've even seen a walnut in its shell, but these were walnuts in the shells, and she would say, listen, so-and-so gave me this bag of walnuts. Start cracking the walnuts because we need it for the chocolate cookies. We need it for the fettuccine cookies. So we used to, have to
we did it with
shell our own walnuts. Oh, did you do it? Okay,
yeah,
good.
Last year we did it with
Okay. So, but now we just buy them in the plastic bag. We're going to use some chocolate chips, sugar, flour, baking powder, 2 kinds of chocolate. We're going to use some milk, eggs, vanilla, and cinnamon, and some butter. So we're going to get started with this. Are you prepared, Grace?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we have 6 cups of flour that I've already measured out and put in this bowl. And we have, and I'm going to read this recipe as I go along, 6 teaspoons of baking powder, which is in this little bowl here. So we're going to put that in here, and we're going to mix it all up.
What's in that bowl now?
Baking powder, 6 cups of all-purpose flour,
okay,
and 6 teaspoons of baking powder, and 2 cups of granulated sugar.
Woo.
Okay. And I'm going to let Gracie kind of whisk it together because I'm not really good at sifting or anything like that. So Gracie can whisk that together, okay, to kind of mix it.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah. Mix it up a little bit, and then we're going to put the chocolate in there. A really simple recipe. Huh?
It looks like snow.
Oh, it's a Christmas thing. So we're going to add some chocolate.
How much is some?
Okay, so I put, this recipe requires about 2 cups of chocolate. So 1 cup of Hershey's dark cocoa, okay, and 1 cup of Ghirardelli's cocoa, and one is dark and one is light, okay. And here's the cinnamon. And this was 2 teaspoons of cinnamon that we're going to put in there.
I love the smell of cinnamon.
Yeah. If you kind of go up and down a little, yeah, if you do that, it'll mix easier. Or more thoroughly, anyway. And we're going to put 1.5 cups of butter.
In this one?
Yeah, and I'm going to mix it with my hands because it's too hard to mix with any kind of a spoon or anything.
Does that look okay?
Yeah, you know, mix it a little bit more and, you know, make sure that it all gets incorporated and all those little white lumps, see all those little bumps, and you want all those little flour lumps to kind of get mixed. Okay, and it's pretty even in color now. Okay, so we're going to go to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to put 3 sticks of butter, which is 1.5 cups. Oh, okay. 1.5 cups of butter.
So that's 1.5?
We're going to put 3 cubes.
Oh, wow.
So 1.5 cups, because 1 cube is 1/2 cup. Okay?
1 cube is 1/2 cup?
Yeah. Oh,
Chocolate
just
all over.
flood chocolate all over. Yeah, it's not like your mom. When your mom makes cookies, there's hardly any mess. There's hardly any ingredients, and not a Mary makes a mess. Okay.
Whenever I make cookies, I make a huge mess.
Okay. So I'm going to mix it with my hands. I make all my cookies this way. I just have room temperature butter, and I just go into I cut the flour in the butter into the flour with my fingers. You know, and I've tried to do this in a mixer. Not my mixer, because my mixer's a toy. It's a little tiny thing. But I've tried to do this in a big mixer, and it changes the consistency of the dough. And I don't want to do that. I just want to do this and kind of smoosh it all in. Okay, until it's fairly incorporated. It doesn't have to be perfectly, but as best you can. And it only takes a minute. It doesn't take long. See, can you beat these eggs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. And we're going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla in that while you're beating that. Okay, and you know how vanilla is, you know, a little more or less, it's really fine, it's up to you. It doesn't really change anything. Okay, just try to beat it a little bit, yeah, good.
Does that look good?
Yeah, but you could be a little more aggressive with it, you know.
I don't want to splash it all over the place.
Splashing is okay. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do before I add the egg, I'm going to add 2 cups of chopped walnuts. Okay, and I'm trying to coat this with
May I ask a question?
the flour. Yes, sir.
You have the eggs, but you put the vanilla in the eggs and beat it instead of putting them
Yeah.
separately. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I think you'll spread your vanilla around a little
Yeah,
more if you
okay.
put it in the liquid egg.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that idea.
Yeah, and I do that with all the cookies. And then I put 2 cups of chopped walnuts and 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Just, you know, you could put less, you could put none. You know, some people have said when their mother made chocolate balls, they didn't put chocolate chips, they didn't put nuts. Well,
How do you get the chocolate?
just with the chocolate powder, the cocoa. But I think you know, when our grandmothers were around and our mothers, if they didn't have those ingredients, they made it without it.
Right.
You know, they weren't going to, you know, have to go to the store to get them. If they didn't have walnuts, they wouldn't put it, you know. My grandmother, when I was a kid, we always had walnuts in them. But when I was about maybe 11 or 12, she started putting chocolate chips in. We loved it. You know, so maybe at the beginning she didn't have it, and when she did, we got it. It was fine. So now I'm going to add the eggs. Okay. And the vanilla. And I'm just going to work it around just like it was like bread dough, I guess. Same kind of thing. Okay, and I'm going to add some milk just to moisten the dough. And I would say it's probably going to take a half a cup. I don't know. And this 6 little cups of flour has turned into a lot because you've got nuts, you've got chocolate, you know, and the chocolate chips. So it's really created a much bigger recipe. And I'm just going to work it until it forms a dough. All right, can you do it?
How do I do it?
Just stick your hand this way. Here. This way. And go all the way down to the bowl. All the way down in the bowl. And lift it up. Good job. That's good. Then you move the bowl, you turn the bowl, and you just keep doing that. Good job, girl.
Don't get
Better
it.
than an electric mixer. You're doing good. Okay, I think you need a little more milk. So I'm going to give you some more milk. You're good at this.
Thank you.
Okay, that's fine.
No, here.
Is that how you get them off?
Yeah. Just rub it.
Okay.
Here. Get all that goop off. Come on.
Crazy.
Rub it.
How will you rub it?
Like this.
Yeah.
My
I
hands
know,
feel
but
so
it
soft.
just, it just,
Sticky.
it's just mooshing it around.
Because you're too strong.
Now, what are you going to do with this?
That's fine. It'll work.
And then now your hands are that way.
Well, just one.
Yeah.
I don't want any of this flour to show here. I want it to kind of be. Okay, that's good enough. That's good. It's like taffy. But see how it just rolls off? I don't know why it's not rolling off of you.
Because I'm a guy.
I guess. So we've mixed our dough, and we've mixed it until it holds together and it doesn't really stick to your hands much. So we have a big ball here, okay? So you can see the consistency of the dough. Now what we're going to do is we're going to roll some walnut-sized balls of this dough, okay? So, and we're going to place it on top of a piece of parchment paper, or you can grease the cookie sheet that you're using. And usually I grease it with Crisco if that's what I'm going to do. But then I go right back with a paper towel and wipe it off because you don't want a lot of grease on the cookie sheet. So what I've been doing is using parchment paper most of the time now, because after when I go and frost the cookie, I have the parchment paper there and there's less of a mess. So I usually do it on the parchment paper. So Gracie's going to help me roll these. Okay? Okay, so we want that size ball. So let's see, make those. We don't want it too big and we don't want it too little. So here we go. And sometimes you might need a little bit of flour on your fingers if it's a little bit, the dough might be a little bit sticky. This one is a little bit sticky. Good job. A good size. But I have to say, if it was hard, if this cookie comes out hard at the end of this, it's because it was overcooked.
Hard in what way? Hard where it's
Just
crunchy?
yeah, real hard type cookie.
I remember eating the cookie and it kind of broke apart, but it was It was fine. It wasn't hard.
No, not hard. Roll it better than that.
Tattoo, which means
The cookie. Tattoo. Here you. What's a cookie called? Here you. Tattoo.
Hear you.
Here
The,
you.
tu.
That-
Hear you.
Here
Oh.
you. We used to
Give it to you. Here mean
They
take
used to
it.
give it to you. The tattoo. Original was people would make some cookie, give it to the friends, the neighbors. Here you. So
Yeah.
the nickname tattoo.
for just this cookie alone. Well,
My
and then you
sister,
put a
she
chocolate
said,
glaze
"Yeah,
over
what's
it.
a tattoo.
White.
White glaze,
glaze.
yeah, white. Yeah.
You know, we used to make them. Vincent Maggio's aunt downtown. The D'Agostino lady used to make it.
Well,
Madame Regina's cousin.
My nana and my
Yeah.
mother made these.
Yes.
Okay, so here we've done 1 pan of chocolate balls. And like I said before, my grandmother, they called them tattoos. That's what they called them. But they're chocolate balls. And they're a darker color. And now the trick is not to overcook them. Because if we overcook them, they're going to be hard as rocks. And we don't want hard as rocks. So what we're going to do is put them in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to put them in there for 6 minutes. And then I'm going to check them. And the way I check them, and hopefully we'll get a picture of that, is the minute that the cookie holds together, when you can pinch it in the oven and actually lift it off the paper or off the pan, then the cookie is done. You're going to say, well, it's not browned, I didn't cook it very long. It's probably going to cook 10 minutes at the most, but as soon as you can pick it up or touch it, without it collapsing or falling apart, then the cookie will be cooked. So we're going to put it in the oven now, and I'm going to check it. It isn't. You can lift it up off the sheet. So the cookie's cooked, and it's been in here for, what do we say, 9 minutes, 9.5 minutes. So we're not going to cook it any more than this. It is still soft. So we're not going to cook it anymore. We're just taking it out and cooling it. Okay, so we baked our cookies. I put it in for 6 minutes and it wasn't long enough. I still couldn't pick them up off the tray. So we left them there another 3 minutes. And when you look at the cookie, it looks like, oh, it's not really cooked, but it really is cooked. We're not browning it. We're just cooking. We're just getting it hot enough for the butter and the eggs to kind of gel together. So we're letting them cool. And while they're cooling, we're going to make some frosting. And this is a frosting that you would put on a sugar cookie. You could use it for anything, okay? So we're going to use some powdered sugar, and this looks like a lot. So I'm going to make a lot of frosting because I'm going to finish up making the rest of the cookies today. So Grace, you can add this to the bowl. Okay.
All of it?
Yes, gently because we'll make a big cloud. It's got a lot of, with the whole thing in there.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I usually make a whole bag, and I don't know, I think this is 2 pounds in this bag when I do a batch of cookies. Okay, and we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And we could have put it in, I would say it's about 1/4 of a cup of milk and a pat of butter, which maybe was 2 teaspoons of butter. And we're not going to use the whole thing. We're just going to put a little bit of milk in the bowl and we're going to mix it up. You want to help? Okay. Good job. Who's talking about flinging stuff? We're not going to use all of this milk. And this is the part that, if you've never made glaze before for a cookie or a cake, you don't know. You start out with a really dry mixture and you add a little bit of liquid at a time, because if you put too much, you can never add enough powdered sugar into it to thicken it up. You'll have to throw it away and start over. So I just want to see how this is. See, you have to kind of press down to the bottom so you can see where the milk is. Okay. Okay, keep mixing. You're not getting out of this. And I think there must have been about a quarter of a cup of milk in there, maybe a third of a cup. You're doing good. You're good at this stuff.
Thanks. I'm good at cooking,
Yes, you are.
especially baking. I love baking.
Come over here.
No, let her taste it.
No. Come over here. Come here, Grace. Okay. So now we haven't done anything. We've just waited until they cooled off, and they're still a little bit warm, and they're still kind of on the soft side. So what I want you to do is to take one and break it in half and see if it's cooked. It's cooked, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a cake.
Taste it. Does it taste cooked to you? Very chocolatey, and it's warm, so it's a little bit gooey,
Gooey, yeah.
but it is cooked.
Yeah. So how long did you need it to dry longer?
No, I think right now it just needs to cool off because they're soft because they're still warm from the oven. So as soon as they're cold, we're going to put our glaze. We're going to dip them in our glaze, and we're not going to dump them all. You know, I've seen people that dump them all in the bowl, and they make the glaze thinner, and they just mix them all up. Well, you can do that if it's a hard cookie, but if it's a delicious chocolatey cookie, you can't do that. Okay,
Almost like a fudge.
fudgy.
Very good.
But
I like
it's going to get harder as they cool off.
Cool off.
But they're not going to be brick hard.
The inside was looked like a cake, but a little gooier because of the chocolate chips.
And not too sweet, right?
No, perfect.
Perfect.
Very, very good. Like a sweet fudge brownie.
Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be. So you could actually cook these for about 9 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, if you start going to 11 or 12 minutes, it might be too much.
Yeah.
You know, and it depends on the oven too, you know. I am on 350 and I only had one pan in there. So maybe they were getting hotter. So maybe you have 2 pans in there. You might have to go to 11 or
longer,
12
yeah.
maybe.
Right.
You know, but this was 1 pan at a time. So we're going to wait till it cools off.
Okay.
And then we're going to put the glaze on it. Right? Okay. So now the cookies have cooled off. Still a little bit warm, but not like they were before. So Gracie's just going to gently dip them and just skim the cookie across the top of the frosting
Ooh, look
in
at
the
that.
bowl, and it's done.
Wow.
My grandmother used to do it with a pastry brush and brush each one. But you don't really have to do that. You can just skim it across, go up the side of the bowl of the frosting, and it works just fine. You know, nothing to it. Good job. So we've made our chocolate balls. Our tetu cookies is what we call them. I don't know if that's correct in Sicilian or in Sicily because I've never had a chocolate ball in Sicily. I don't know why. Lots of other cookies, but not a chocolate ball.
Now there was another one that was round. It was snowballs
With
They
powdered
were
sugar on
white.
top.
White.
Seen those.
What was inside the cookie?
Just walnuts, butter. It's butter.
Was it
flour.
chocolate? Oh, it was just
No,
white though.
White.
I
It's
got
white.
it. Yeah.
And I usually make those,
Uh-huh.
you know, every year. So here's our chocolate balls. And Frankie, you get to taste them.
Okay.
We're not doing so hot.
And then these are the other ones that. What kind are these here?
The shimino cookies, the sesame cookies.
Yeah.
Shimino cookies.
Camino.
Yeah. It fell on the floor and you're eating it. Okay. But these are our traditional Sicilian cookies, or, you know, California. I don't know about the rest of the country, but this is what my grandmother made. We had this every Christmas. And, you know, the chocolate balls, she would make them for everything. Easter, somebody's birthday. And then she made one just like this without the chocolate, and she would put the glazed fruit inside.
Now sometimes they had chocolate frosting. I remember seeing
On
those.
chocolate balls.
On
Yeah.
chocolate balls, yeah.
Yeah.
You put a little powder in there.
Yeah.
A lot.
But this is just the
These-
traditional.
These are good for diets, right?
No,
Oh.
not good for diets at all.
Lots of
Sorry.
Thank you
I'm
very
sorry.
much. Thank you for doing
Oh,
it.
thank
So
you
thank
for
you for
helping.
being the host.
Thank you for helping us. Okay, so don't forget, follow us on Facebook and like our page and follow us. Share us. We really need you to share us. Share our recipes and our page. All of our posts. Look at us on YouTube. like us on YouTube. Click the bell so you'll know when we post a new video. And
Website.
go to the Isola della Family, Friends of Isola della Family.org to our website. See and check our recipes. I think the tab is culture. I think it's culture, and we're starting to post the recipes. And if you're a member of Isola della Family and you think if you're a member of our organization and you think your chocolate ball recipe is better than mine, you send it to me and I'll post your recipe under our recipe gallery. So get involved with us. We're having a lot of fun. So see you for the next recipe. Bye-bye.